Hello, Tidmouth Milk 12 here, and welcome to a bit of a different video. This is kind of a video response to a YouTuber called Cassidy, who does Hitman content. They posted a video yesterday talking about how a professional Hitman player ranks all of the different maps in the game. Their perspective was more playing the actual missions, and I think that kind of overlooks how the maps differ when playing in Freelancer mode. So I kind of want to quickly go through my personal takes on each map and rank them as well. So right off the bat, we've got Freeform Training and the Final Test. Those are both not included in Freelancer, so those immediately can go straight into the not applicable category. Paris, I do like Paris. It doesn't have a lot of downsides to playing Freelancer. It's a fairly easy level to get around. There's good disguises. If you can get yourself one of the high level guard disguises, then you're pretty much free to just go wherever you want. Only downsides I have on that map for playing Freelancer is if you get a target that's in the auction. It's difficult to take them out quietly because they're in a room full of other people, so you're always going to be in the eye line of at least one other person. The other thing I have with Paris is if you're trying to do a suit only run and you get the spawn point on the barge tower, you're kind of screwed because you're already in the middle of a trespassing area, so it's very difficult to get Silent Assassin suit only from that start point. But other than that, it's a decent level, and I think I'd quite happily give that an A ranking. Sapienza again is a pretty decent level. I do like Sapienza is a classic, and I think it really suits Freelancer very well. All the targets in base game Sapienza are basically in the same chunk of the map. Like, there's two that are in the mansion, and then the virus that's underneath. So you don't really have much opportunity to go and explore the rest of the map. But yeah, Freelancer, it's really good. The cameras are very easy to get rid of on Sapienza. You can just break into the church basement and get rid of them down there. The only thing I don't like about Sapienza is you get a target that's in the bunker, the cave, because that's just a hostile area to everybody apart from a couple of disguises. So it's a little bit difficult to get your way in there, especially if you're trying to do Silent Assassin suit only. So I think, again, I would give it an A. Not quite as high as well, I don't know, actually. There's lots of coins on Sapienza. I do like collecting the coins as throwables. Yeah, I think I'd rank it above Paris, actually. Marrakesh. Now, Marrakesh is on a list that I have to my side here. Over the last month or so, I've been trying to clear out the maps that I haven't killed 50 targets on yet. And Marrakesh was one of my least played maps. The consulate's not too difficult to get into, but it does require a disguise to get through without being spotted. I mean, I know there's ways to do Silent Assassin suit only on Marrakesh in the base game, but it is awkward to get around. If you get a target that's in the marketplace or in the shisha cafe or something like that, those are all very public areas. So again, it's very difficult to get somebody out of the way quietly without getting spotted. So yeah, Marrakesh was, I think it was my third least played in terms of targets killed. I don't know if I'd got any campaign failures in Marrakesh, but yeah, Marrakesh was one that I tended to avoid, I think, just because it's a lot of public area, so it's difficult to deal with targets. So I think I'm gonna have that be a C. I might move things around later. Bangkok. Now, I have a vendetta against Bangkok. Bangkok I have lost multiple campaigns on. Again, it's a lot of public spaces, which targets quite often tend to spawn in. Otherwise, they're up in Jordan Cross's suite. The cameras, there's only the one spot to get rid of them, and that's in the middle of a trespassing zone, so it's very difficult to get those out of the way without a disguise. I got spotted so many times on Bangkok doing illegal stuff and ended up getting into a firefight, which I would lose. If I get in alerted territory in Bangkok, I'm just like, no, I'm out. I don't want to deal with that at all. And there's not a whole lot of Cassidy said this as well in their video. There's the 2 suites, which are basically mirror images of each other, and then like the cafe public area like down on the main level. And there's not like a whole lot of sneaky ways round. Like you can go up the pipes and stuff, but you still got to get through trespassing areas and not get spotted going to them. See, this is the thing. It's on my list of ones that I've tended to avoid, but I think I've gotten a bit more used to it now. So yeah, I think I would give it a C above Marrakesh. I've gotten used to it a little bit, but I still got a little bit of just distrust of it. Now, Colorado is an interesting one. Colorado was my least played level because I just always avoided it outright. I was just like, oh no, Colorado, not going there. But in the last month, I think it's actually grown on me, and I've come to realise that it's actually not quite as bad as I like initially wrote it off as being. If you have the arms dealer syndicate and you get the side mission to kill guards in different ways, Colorado is basically just a free-for-all because it's 90% guards, so you can just shoot everybody. Quietly, obviously. Once Colorado starts turning into a massive firefight, it's not great because the entire map will turn hostile towards you. I definitely dislike 2 of the spawn locations. There's the spawn location on the west side because that's sort of a very difficult area to... I mean, it's possible to sneak out of that area without getting spotted by the 2 guards on the gate, but it is very awkward to get out of that spot. And the other one being the sniper water tower right in the south bit of the base. You're on a roof with 3 other guards and you have to slip down a ladder without getting spotted by them. Otherwise you're just instantly like getting shot. For that I'm going to rank it down, but I'm actually, as I say, it's kind of grown on me. I've kind of gotten used to it a little bit, and I'm actually going to rate it a B. I think yeah. Hokkaido. I think I've had a couple of campaign failures on Hokkaido as well. The only thing that usually gets me with Hokkaido is the door system, because you have to be wearing certain disguises to get through doors, unless you bring along the electronic key hacker, but that costs an inventory slot. And I don't tend to bring that with me anyway, because it just feels like a waste, because it's a one and done, you've lost it kind of thing. But yeah, Hokkaido's not bad. It's another public-y level. So like if you've got a target that's in the spa or in the cafe, it can be difficult to get rid of them unless you have the right disguise to be able to like poison a drink or something. Oh, and if you get that spawn location, like the ninja start point up in the mountain, that can be quite annoying, especially if it's on an alerted territory and if there's 2 extra guards patrolling that area as well, because it's very difficult to get them out of the way. I'm going to give it a B, same as Colorado. I'm going to rate it above Colorado. It has its moments. On to Hitman 2 now. Hawke's Bay, that's also not in Freelancer. Understandable. I mean, that's just a private house in the middle of a deserted beach. There's not really a lot of opportunity to add extra targets there. Miami, I do like Miami. Miami's one of my go-to levels, especially for a showdown. My chosen pick for showdowns was Whittleton Creek. We'll get to that in a minute. Again, it's a bit of a public area, so if you get a target that spawns in like the race stands or like wandering about in the VIP area, it can be a little bit difficult to get them out of the way. There's a bunch of guards that can see through disguises in the VIP area as well. It's a nice level. The public areas can be annoying. I don't think I've had as much trouble with them as I've had on Bangkok and Marrakesh. Would I give it an S tier? I think I might, you know. I think Miami's going to be my first S tier, I think. I do genuinely love playing on Miami. Santa Fortuna. I don't know if there's just something in my game that makes Santa Fortuna just like not show up, because it seems to barely appear as like a location, and I just think that's just because it doesn't seem to show up. It's all random, I'm sure, but I've had like picks where Santa Fortuna hasn't appeared on any of the syndicates. And it's like, okay, I guess the syndicates just don't like Santa Fortuna. In terms of the level, I think it's okay. Dealing with targets in the mansion area can be quite annoying. I seem to quite often get one of the women sitting on the sun lounges, and they're kind of difficult to get out of the way without getting spotted by all of the guards, because there are a lot of guards in that mansion. The Coca Fields isn't too bad because you can just hide in the grass, but getting to that point is a bit of a pain. The other thing, the cameras as well. The camera boxes aren't particularly easy to get to. It's quite a big level as well, so if you've got multiple targets that are spread across the entire map, it can be a little bit of a pain, and you end up sinking like half an hour or 40 minutes into just getting rid of all the targets, especially if you're trying to do all of the side jobs as well. So I think Santa Fortuna, I'm going to put it between Hokkaido and Colorado. I think it's well. No, I think I'm gonna put it below Colorado. I think just because of the public areas, letting it down again a little bit, and just sort of you quite often get targets that are like out in the open, so it's sort of very difficult to get them out of the way. Speaking of public areas, Mumbai. Mumbai is a map I've played on a fair amount. Don't think I've had any campaign failures in Mumbai. I think it's gotten close a few times. I think I've got the clip somewhere. It was probably playing his B-roll in the background. I had to kill a target with an unsilenced pistol, and I was just picking off one of the guards in Vanya Shah's train yard in the distance. I think I knocked him down like 3 or 4 times just because the pistol was not accurate enough to like get a perfect headshot. Finally managed to shoot him and just slip out on the train whilst being shot at. In terms of the level, Mumbai, again, you do get targets showing up in public areas occasionally. Like there's one guy that hangs about in that like plaza area in front of the building site tower. So yeah, it can be a bit awkward for targets in public areas sometimes. Plenty of guards if you've got that if you've got like kill guard objectives. I think I'd kind of rank it about the same, maybe just above Santa Fortuna, because I do like Mumbai. Yeah, I think I'm going to put it between Colorado and Santa Fortuna. Now, Whittleton Creek is a good one. As I say, this tends to be my pick for a showdown. If I've got a showdown and I've got Whittleton Creek, I tend to try and do it there, especially if I've got a target that's a foodie or a dehydrated. It's a fairly public level, like especially like in the party or out in the street, you're liable to get noticed. I did get a target once. There's like a guy doing like yoga near the statue on like the west side of the map. I think I just ended up just shooting him in the head like from the window of the for sale house. So you can get awkward targets on there, but other than that, like the cameras are easy to deal with. There's plenty of guards if you're going for those objectives. The only thing that lets it down is if you get a target that's one of the guards in Cassidy's house. This is the Nolan Cassidy, not Cassidy the YouTuber. They also make that joke. I've had that a few times where the target is somebody in Nolan Cassidy's house, so they're a little bit awkward to get to because there's not really an easy way to get into Cassidy's house. I think that lets it down a little bit, but do I still put it in S tier? I think for showdowns it's S tier, but for main like freelancer missions, I think it's an A. But I'll rank it a high A. I'll put it at the top of A. Ambrose Island. Now, this was another one that was on my low played list. It's actually tied for Bangkok for one of my least played levels. It's another level that's split between crowded public areas and areas that you will get shot on sight. Now, normally a good tactic for getting targets out of the way is to poison them. One of the problems with several of the levels, Ambrose Island included, is that targets will just go and vomit into a bin or somewhere that's like out in the open, so it doesn't really get them out of the way at all. But I don't dislike Ambrose Island. It's not too difficult to get around and get into the hostile areas without getting spotted. And there's a few like accident opportunities for targets that wander through public areas. I think I would probably maybe between Mumbai and Santa Fortuna. I think it's about on the level with Mumbai, I think. Isle of Scale. I do like Isle of Scale. I know my way around Scale quite well. Cameras aren't too difficult to get rid of. The only gripe I have with it sometimes is if you get a target that's up in the greenhouse glass bit at the top of the tower, because you need a keycard to get through into that area, and I don't actually know where you get that keycard from, so I just always tend to find some other way to get up there or lure a guard or the target down to open the door for me. It has got a little bit hairy at times in terms of getting like spotted doing illegal stuff. There is like quite big public areas and you do sometimes get targets in those areas, but they're not too difficult to get rid of. There's like poison opportunities by like disguising as a waiter and like offering them a drink filled with poison and stuff. So yeah, I do like scale. I think I'll put it between Sapienza and Paris. I think it's kind of again it's kind of on the level with Paris. I think I like both of them. So yeah, I'll put it there. New York. New York is one that I've played a lot of, but I actually don't think I really like it that much. Like, it's good in terms of its small size. So, like, if you've got a lot of targets, they're not going to be spread super far out. Where it falls down is that most of these areas are full of a lot of people, so it's very difficult to casually get somebody out of the way. Cameras aren't too difficult to get rid of, especially if you spawn in the car park. That's basically right next to the guard room that's downstairs, like right by the vault. So that's like a really easy place to get rid of the cameras. Honestly, I think the most annoying targets are ones that spawn in the main lobby, especially if they spawn on the right-hand side as you're coming in the front entrance, because they're sort of basically impossible to get silently. And also, if you get one of the analysts or whatever who are in the lockboxes area, one guy drinks from the water bottle, and you think, oh, water bottle, you can just easily poison it. But I think the water bottle is pretty much always in eye line of one or both of them at all times. Plus, there's two guards standing by the gate, and I think they can see into the room as well. I have played a lot of New York, but there has been quite a lot of annoying moments. So in terms of ranking, I'll give it a B, but it'll be a high B. Haven Island. Now this is another one that's on my list. I actually played it less than Bangkok, despite my hatred of Bangkok. I don't think it's a terrible level, but because the level is mostly public areas, you tend to get targets that spawn in the public areas. I think most of the targets it picks tend to be ones that drink or eat from the bar, so they're quite easy to deal with if you've got the right disguise, but there are a lot of enforcers about. I don't think it's very easy to get Silent Assassin on, especially if you've got a target that's out in the open. I think I would rate this a B as well, I think. Probably slightly below New York just because it's a lot more spread out. Maybe below Hokkaido as well, actually. Because Hokkaido does have trespassing areas that are annoying to get into. Haven Island has trespassing areas as well, but I think they're a little bit easier to get into, or at least it's easier to get a disguise. You can get a mansion guard disguise really easy in Haven Islands. Just take out the camera on the west side wall, pick open the gate, and then throw something against the wall, and there's a guard on the other side that's just like, oh, and just wanders out into the bushes to easily get knocked out. So yeah, I think for that I'm gonna rate it above Hokkaido. Dubai was another one that was on my least played list. I don't think there was any particular reason for that. I think I just sort of avoided Dubai because there's a lot of highly populated areas, so it's difficult to get targets covertly. In terms of the map, the cameras are incredibly easy to get rid of. You can just climb up the lift shaft, and there's an unguarded recorder in like a locked room off one of the security offices. This is really easy to get rid of the cameras on Dubai. And then you can easily get yourself a guard disguise just by luring in one of the guards from that next door room. Again, it's kind of on the level of scale in Paris. Like, there's a lot of public areas, but most of the time there are easy opportunities to get targets out of the way. Maybe other people have had different experiences. In terms of ranking, I'd give it an A. I'll put it there. I'll put it just above scale, I think. Or do I put it above Sapienza? Yeah, I think I'll put it above Sapienza, actually. Dartmoor. Dartmoor is another awkward one. It's difficult for suit only because the entire map pretty much is trespassing. There's a lot of guards and a lot of enforcers. You can get targets that are up on the top floor of the mansion. If you get the spawn location at the top of the mansion, that's alright, because you can easily get one of the high-level security guard disguises and then just walk around like you own the place. But if you get the spawn in the back of the gardens, you're like right out in the open. So yeah, it's an all trespassing area. I think the only bit that's publicly accessible is the front gate entrance, at least in the main level. I don't even think you can spawn there in Freelancer. I don't think I've ever spawned there. In terms of ranking, I think I would put it in the B category. I'm trying to think, if given the choice, would I pick Dartmoor over Mumbai? Probably not, actually. So I might put Dartmoor down even further. I might even put it in a C. I do like Dartmoor as a level. Like, it's a really nice looking level. I'll keep it in B, but at the bottom of B for now. Now, Berlin, I love Berlin. Absolutely one of my favourite levels in Hitman 3 and in Freelancer as well. I'm surprised Berlin was on my list of least played levels because I feel like I just go to Berlin a lot. It does have a slightly awkward spawn location on top of the biker gang hideout, but that also gives you easy access to a biker disguise, which is basically free access to the entire map. Once you've unlocked the shortcut side entrance, you can very easily get your way in without getting frisked. The only thing that lets it down is if you get a target that's in one of the bar areas, because they can be difficult to isolate. I have a clip where my target was sitting inside of one of like the fake crowd NPCs, and I ended up shooting the crowd NPC rather than the target because they were just glitched inside each other. But I think that's the only time it's gotten particularly bad in Berlin. I could go on about how much I love Berlin all day. So I'm just going to shut up and put it in S tier. In fact, top of S tier. Chongqing. Now, Chongqing is a level I do have a lot of playtime in. I love the look of Chongqing. It's a really lovely design for a level. There are some highly public areas or fairly public areas. They're not super crowded, so you can find like gaps or like little blind spots to hide in to get rid of people in the open. The targets that annoy me are the ones that spawn in the ICA facility, especially if they spawn in the 3rd level down, which means you've got to like get all of the hacking dongles. It's a real pain in the ass to get targets in Chongqing. It sucks on a showdown, especially if your target spawns again in the ICA facility. So for that, I am going to give it a B. I think I will put it between Colorado and Mumbai. And finally, Mendoza, because Carpathian Mountains is also not in Freelancer. It was another one on my least played. It was the most played of my least played, if that makes any sense. I think the reason why it was low on my list was because I was doing the cheese tactic of getting a sniper rifle, sitting up on top of the cliffside, and just sniping near all of the potential targets until they revealed themselves, and then just getting an easy kill. And even if you're not doing that, game breaking tactic, if they're a foodie or a dehydrated, you can just easily poison their drink or their food. There are a couple of annoying spots in like the party area. Once again, it's a highly populated area. It's very difficult to covertly get somebody out of the way, and it can quite often end up in a firefight. If you get a target that's in the vineyard, I always feel like, is the person on the other side of the hedge going to see? Because it feels like they would, but I'm not sure of lines of sight on some of the spots in Mendoza. Ironically, it's easier to get somebody in like the highly trespassing area of the mansion than it is to get somebody out of the way in the middle of the party, which is a public area. I will say, thanks to Cassidy for pointing this out in one of their videos, the Midnight Black suit, I can't remember what it's called. It's I'll put it on screen. One of the suits just gives you free access to the mansion without trespassing, which is incredibly useful. But I do like Mendoza. It's an okay level. I'd probably put it alongside Chongqing, I think, in B. So there we go. That's my rankings. If there are any other freelance players watching this, do you agree with my ranking? Do you think some should be rated higher? Do you think some should be rated lower? Let me know what you think. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. I've been Tim12, and I'll see you next time. Bye!